Audio Jungle.
In the streets, so don't stop now. In the streets, so don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just right now. In the old days, don't drop out. So don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just right now. In the old days, no time to flop now. In the streets, so don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just right now. In the old days, no time to flop out. So don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just right now. In the old days, no time to flop now. In the streets, don't stop now. DJs, LMP. Just right now, in the old days, don't get the drop out. Don't stop how deep is LMP. Just right now, in the old days, don't get the drop out.
Vikings Van Ginkel picks off Jets Rodgers, returns it for TD. Minnesota Vikings linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel is just so good at finding his way into open spaces that opposing quarterbacks don't expect. On Sunday in London, Van Ginkel dropped from the line, intercepted New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers and took it 63 yards for the first touchdown of the game to give the Vikings a 10-0 lead. It was Rodgers' fifth pick six in his 20-year career. Van Ginkel now has 4 career interceptions, and he has taken back 3 of them for touchdowns. In Week 1, he intercepted New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones and took it back 10 yards for a touchdown. Van Ginkel was a 5th-round pick of the Miami Dolphins in 2019, when Brian Flores was the team's head coach. Flores, now the Vikings defensive coordinator, pushed general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah to sign Van Ginkel this spring in free agency and has put him to work right away. The Vikings followed with an interception on the Jets' ensuing possession as well, this one from safety Cam Bynum. It was the first time Aaron Rodgers has thrown 2 interceptions in the first quarter in his career, according to ESPN research. Trade talks involving Davante Adams are expected to intensify next week as the Las Vegas Raiders star's hamstring heals and as more teams weigh what they are willing to offer for the Pro Bowl wide receiver, league sources told ESPN. Talks are not thought to be as far along as some have intimated, according to sources, but that partly has to do with Adams' health, as he continues to recover from a hamstring injury that could sideline him through Week 6, according to league sources. Potential acquiring teams also are hesitant to make firm offers, knowing that the Raiders could use those offers to establish a market for Adams. That market therefore has not warmed up as much as it will in the future, with the NFL's November 5th trade deadline looming. The Raiders have let interested teams know that team owner Mark Davis will not accept anything less than a second-round draft pick in return for Adams, along with additional compensation that could be in the form of a draft pick or a player, according to league sources. The New York Jets and New Orleans Saints are considered the 2 favorites to land Adams, but they are hardly the only teams interested in the 3-time All-Pro. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens also are monitoring the Adams situation and could get into the mix, according to sources. Adams posted a picture of the poet Edgar Allan Poe on social media Friday, leading to speculation that the situation with the Ravens was gaining steam. But according to sources, the Raiders and Ravens haven't had any contact since early last week. For the time being, Adams seems to be most intrigued with the Jets and Saints. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers has been recruiting Adams to come to New York, and the wide receiver is interested in reuniting with his former Green Bay Packers teammate. While the Raiders are adamant about acquiring a second-round pick for Adams, the Jets are slated to have 2 third-round picks and 2 sixth-round picks in 2025. The Jets also have wide receiver Mike Williams, who was drafted in 2017 by Raiders general manager Tom Telesco, while Telesco was the Los Angeles Chargers GM and eventually received a contract extension during their time together in LA. The Jets have over $17.1 million in salary cap space, but they also have the unresolved pending situation with holdout pass rusher Hasten Reddick. Adams also has an interest in joining forces again with Saints quarterback Derek Carr, whom he played with in Las Vegas and at Fresno State. Carr spoke openly this week about how much he, or any quarterback, would like to play with Adams. The Saints have been masters at manipulating the salary cap and would have to make more magic, as they are about $4.6 million under the cap. A potential trade with the Saints could mean that the Raiders would pay some of Adams' salary this season, but Las Vegas also has told teams that it doesn't want to do that, according to sources. Adams' salary for this season is $17.5 million, with $13.5 million still owed through the end of the season. And while he is under contract for 2025 and 2026, his annual salary jumps to $36.25 million for each of those seasons. With such a hefty price tag, a trade partner would likely have to get Adams to agree to a restructured contract. Adams was acquired by the Raiders in a blockbuster trade with the Packers for first and second round picks in March 2022. Adams agreed to the Raiders trade partly to reunite with Carr but ended up playing only 1 year with him in Las Vegas, as Carr was released by the Raiders after the 2022 campaign. Adams played the first 8 seasons of his NFL career with Rodgers in Green Bay, during which time the wideout was selected to 5 Pro Bowls and was a 2-time first-team All-Pro. Adams also was selected to the Pro Bowl and was a first-team All-Pro in his only season with Carr in Las Vegas.
Audio Jungle.
Yeah.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Sources: Christian McCaffrey won't return in Week 6, but reasons for encouragement: Christian McCaffrey will not be activated for Thursday night's game in Seattle against the Seahawks, league sources told ESPN on Saturday, even though the 49ers' star running back is eligible to return. The bigger question continues to be when McCaffrey, who has been on injured reserve since Week 2 with calf and Achilles tendonitis issues, will be able to return. McCaffrey's return depends on how he fares in practice, but for now, there is some mild encouragement because the 3-time Pro Bowler's calf and Achilles issues did not flare up after on-field work this week, his first on-field work since being placed on IR, according to league sources. Although McCaffrey has been dealing with bilateral Achilles tendonitis, his issue is concentrated to one of his legs and the other is faring better, according to sources. The bilateral Achilles tendonitis is not considered a concern, according to sources, who told ESPN that McCaffrey is focused on avoiding setbacks as he continues to ramp up in a return to play. If his progress continues without any setbacks, McCaffrey could return October 20th for a Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs, according to league sources. There also is a chance McCaffrey could return for an October 27th game against the Cowboys, according to sources. But even more reasonably, the 49ers could opt to sit McCaffrey for both those games and then give him the bye week to continue to ramp up for their next game at Tampa Bay on November 10th. The Niners do not know which of those weeks is the most realistic return date, but they do know that McCaffrey hasn't suffered any recent setbacks. McCaffrey went to Germany last month to consult with a specialist, hoping to resolve the issue that has bothered him since early in training camp. The 2-time All-Pro missed 4 weeks of practice before returning to the field on a limited basis before the season opener September 9th against the Jets. He was a late scratch for that game and then went on IR on September 14th, 2 days after experiencing pain in the Achilles tendon following a practice. McCaffrey, 28, led the NFL last season with 2,023 yards from scrimmage and was tied for the league lead with 21 touchdowns, winning AP Offensive Player of the Year. Chiefs await clarity on Rashee Rice, trades for WRs. With the Chiefs bracing for Rashee Rice to be out for an extended period, Kansas City intends to make another move at wide receiver just as it has in each of the past 2 years, league sources told ESPN on Saturday. The Chiefs first will want to get doctors' final determination of Rice's status, which could come as early as Monday after he undergoes a knee procedure, according to league sources. There remains hope that Rice could return this season and be sidelined 6 to 8 weeks, according to league sources, but nothing will be determined until early next week at the earliest. It is difficult to know how realistic it is that Rice could return this season, although the Chiefs have not given up hopes of that possibility yet. Once the Chiefs do have clarity on Rice's injury, they can move into action. 2 years ago, the Chiefs acquired Kadarius Toney from the Giants before the trade deadline. Last year, they brought back Mecole Hardman in a trade with the Jets right before the deadline. With Rice out indefinitely this year, and with Hollywood Brown lost for the remainder of the regular season due to a shoulder injury that required surgery, the Chiefs will explore all their options to determine whether they can make another trade for a wide receiver. The Chiefs explored signing DeAndre Hopkins in the 2023 offseason before he landed a 2-year, $26 million deal with the Titans. Now that Hopkins is in the last year of his contract, the Titans might be enticed to entertain offers for their veteran wide receiver. The Chiefs also could reach out to the Jets if New York lands Devontae Adams, inquiring whether New York would have any interest in moving one of its other wide receivers, according to league sources. The Chiefs are not expected to be able to land Adams for a multitude of reasons. For starters, the Chiefs have just under $5 million in available cap space and would need the help of the Raiders to pay down some of Adams' base salary this season. But the Raiders are not about to do any favors, financial or otherwise, for their longtime divisional rival. Adams also might not be enthused about playing in Kansas City, where he was charged with assault for shoving a credentialed media worker after an October 2022 game. Adams had shoved the man, identified by police as Ryan Zebley, who was working for ESPN as a freelance photographer. The misdemeanor charges later were dropped. It also would not be easy for Adams or any receiver to pick up the Chiefs' offense in the middle of the season after not having worked with Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs placed Rice on injured reserve Thursday in a move that will sideline him for at least the next 4 games. He suffered the injury last Sunday when Mahomes collided with his knee as the teammates were chasing a Chargers fumble that followed an interception. Rice leads the Chiefs with 24 receptions and 288 yards receiving in 4 games this season. He's also tied for the team lead with 2 touchdown receptions.
No, we really had a good time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our segment here for SNN Sports. I'm Kennedy Lucas. Welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, this weekend, we were just talking about it before we got the cameras rolling here. This weekend was very, very impactful. It's been a crazy good weekend. If you guys don't know, this was yesterday, T, but by the time that you guys are watching the show here today, it was yesterday, but if you're catching it late, it's probably a couple of days later. This weekend was very impactful. Not only that you had the Atlanta United game on Saturday, October 5th, which was yesterday at 7:30. WWE was in town. Bad Blood was in town, and of course that we were in the building. We were in the building doing some great things, and we were getting a lot of things. Going to the event over at State Farm. First of all, shout out to State Farm down the street from the studio, y'all. State Farm has been very impactful, and WWE Bad Blood was a premium event. Let me tell you, I had such a rocking good time going to Bad Blood last night with my brothers. Of course, it was always a good time when you're going with a family member. To really have a good time going to an event like that. And this had to been, I want to say this had to been my second PLE that we've been to. Second PLE, my first ever PLE premium live event was WrestleMania 27. I want to say this was 2011, so almost over a decade ago, when we had the Georgia Dome. Shout out to the Georgia Dome. The real ones know about the Georgia Dome. and we just had a rocking good time going to the Georgia Dome, going to WrestleMania 27. The Rock hosted, and that was a time, right? Me and my brother, we were kidding ourselves, we were joking with each other simply because when it came down to when it came down to the Georgia Dome in WrestleMania 27, the seats were far, far, far back. Like we could barely see the ring itself, and we can see on the screen and the Titantron. That's all that we can see from that angle of WrestleMania 27, but that was the time and we enjoyed it. We were kids too, so that was just the time. And now Bad Blood, WWE Bad Blood was at State Farm Arena yesterday. It was so good. Shout out to State Farm Arena. Um, Man, I thought we were going to be late because we pulled up and we forgot that, there were, the soccer game, the Atlanta United game going on at the same time as WWE's in town. So it was crazy last night in Atlanta. Luckily, thank God, we found parking here in Atlanta. If you guys, anybody who visits us here in Atlanta, our parking is a lot. It's a lot of things that goes on into the city. So we were able to find that parking, and then we parked and we went inside State Farm. Boy, they actually directed us around. Believe it or not, they direct us around the arena to the backside entrance because the front entrance had a line. So everybody was trying to get into the building, get started. But we made it right on time. Let me tell you, this pay-per-view event, this PLE, Bad Blood, WWE, great seats. We've had such a rocking good time. We had some very fantastic, great seats. A lot of people was at this event. A lot of celebrities were in the building. I mean, you had Mickey James, you had DDP, you had Booker T, Lillian Garcia, you had Goldberg was there too. Obviously, we knew Goldberg was going to be there because he's from Atlanta as well. So it feels good to see him of that caliber going to an event like that, seeing him um live and in person. Like we saw a glimpse, we were that close to him, and to really say, oh crap, that's Goldberg, that's Bill Goldberg right in front of us. Um Down to celebrities, Killer Mike was there, Metro Booming was there, Little Baby was there, Quavo was there as well. So a lot of celebrities came out to support WWE, and I really love it because you get to see celebrities out of their element. We see celebrities on media and Instagram and music, and especially hip hop artists. You see them like on TV, but to see them live and in person, it's a whole nother different world. We scored some really good seats. Let me tell you guys about the pay-per-view itself, and this is kind of the breakdown for SNN Sports of how we thought the pay-per-view event went. Um, this pay-per-view event was really good because not only it was in Atlanta, it was a great show. It was a great show. The setup was very nice. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's match was first, and I honestly I loved how that match was crafted. I like the classic, and Triple H said it. Paul Levesque, Triple H said it the best. He's going back into the classics. Now, this was, in my opinion, the classic Hell in a Cell match that really got people going, right? It really got people going. Drew and CM Punk beating that living hell out of each other in this match. There was blood drawn, and and let me tell you, CM Punk looked really good. Right. I think, honestly, in my opinion, when CM Punk came back for the first time in quite a few years, yeah, I don't think he was in his best shape. Honestly, I think he worked out to the best of his abilities, but there's a little bit of, I don't want to say ring rust because he was with the other company, AEW, but it was just so different. The first time he came back, it was just so different when he came back, and he got hurt again. It's like, okay, I get it. I think CM Punk should just work it out a little bit more. He worked it out a little bit more because when we saw him last night, he looked bigger. He looked ready. He looked like he was in the best shape that he could be in. Now, granted, CM Punk, I'm not saying because he's not old, but he's getting a little bit older than he was previously, right? So it's a little different when you're a little bit older and you're still trying to perfect your craft. It gets harder each time, and he's been doing this for years and years on years, right? So he's been putting a toll on his body so far, right? But I thought, honestly, seeing him live was number one, cool. When Cult of Personality song came on, I had my phone recording. I was so happy to see CM Punk live because I think that was my first time seeing Punk live and to see that he's in the best shape, right? To see that and to see both of them in the ring together in Hell in a Cell, beating the living crap out of each other. There's a toolbox thrown left and right. This was a gruesome, gruesome, gory match, and I like that. That's your classic Hell in a Cell match that they're bringing back onto it. Of course, CM Punk came on top. It felt good to see him win. He really did something amazing when it comes down that storyline between him and Punk. It all started from WrestleMania, right? Because it was supposed to have been Punk at WrestleMania 40. We didn't quite see that, and now we're able to see him kind of get that redemption, right? He's getting kind of that redemption when it comes down to doing what is best for the company, and now he's able to really be in the best shape, continue on that storyline. And I think now that they're going to put Drew and CM Punk to rest now, maybe if the story still warrants more, they'll probably still do more within the story to see how them two can go head to head. Punk's proven it, right? Punk has proven to the point where he's able to become in his best shape and to overshadow and overcome the effects of Drew McIntyre. Now, not to say Drew McIntyre is not good because Drew McIntyre gave it his all too. It's you'd be surprised, and I'm going to keep saying it within the whole segment here, that seeing the superstars in person, they are tall. They're big. They're tall. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just them seeing them live and on TV, it makes them look a certain height. These guys are big, right? They're tall. The show did start off with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Naomi hosting. I kind of felt like I didn't really get the point of them saying that they were hosting it. I think they came to the ring, did their intro, which was great to see them. But then they were in the press box, the VIP suite, the entirety of the show. In my opinion, and I might sound a little contradiction here because me and my brothers agreed that 5 matches a pay-per-view, 5 matches a card is pretty good because it going to a WWE event is a whole spectacle. It's something that you are excited about, you have fun, but after you get a little winded, right? When we got in the car and we waited in the parking lot because we couldn't leave because everybody's trying to leave at the same time, I was dog tired. I was exhausted. And I was telling my brother that, and he was like, "You okay?" Like, "Yeah, I'm just, I'm tired." I mean, it's fun, but that takes it takes a win out of you guys. So I agree that 5 matches a PLE is pretty good. But when it comes down to it, I would have liked to see Bianca Belair and Jade in action and Naomi, some way, some form. Whether it was a dark match or not, I would have loved to see them be more in action at a PLE. I think they just kind of, when they say that they're hosting, I kind of lost the focus of that, and I kind of forgot that they were there because they're doing the little segments in time, and it's interesting how WWE does it because we've seen them when if you go to an event, when they're in a commercial break or they're doing a segment from the backstage, the ring crew, oh my God, ring crew, they're busy. They're getting the ring ready. They doing all this. They have to make sure that everything's ready to go. Right. And they're fast. I kept watching them. They're fast. They like, hey, you need to move this. Hey, this need to move. Hey, the stairs need to move. Hey, the banner needs to do this. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, just wrap this up quickly, quickly. It's a go, 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 go. So after that match, we did get to see the Bailey and Nia Jax match. Honestly, I think Nia Jax, she she's good as being a superstar. She wasn't my vote to win. Now she comes out on top, and so my vote was not Nia Jax. My vote was not Bailey. My pick was Tiffany Stratton. My pick was Tiffany Stratton because I believe that she had the opportunity to cash in and do what she needs to do when it comes down to it. We didn't quite get to see that. I thought last night was going to be Tiffany Stratton's chance. I thought last night we were going to see her cash in and she was going to be the next women's champion. Maybe it's coming up soon. I can't wait to follow that storyline to see how Nia Jax and Tiffany kind of go. They're going to bicker. They're going to go back and forth. I think it's going to be them two going head to head. I honestly do think so. Um, but boy, howdy do I wish that Tiffany Stratton cashed in last night. I would have jumped for joy. I'm a big Tiffany Stratton fan, not only for her looks, but I think she is super talented. I think she, in my opinion, I'm going to keep saying that for forever. She is a great talent. She has the athleticism, she has the charisma, and she has the charm that she can bring to people. And I cannot wait to see what she does next because I want to see it. I want to see her be champion. I want to see her go far and become a superstar. They're all superstars, but she's going to become a mega star because it's Tiffy time. I think it's her time. So that was my vote. That didn't quite go out, panned out like that. It is good to see, Nia Jax still representing and she's doing her thing. She just wasn't my pick. I think what she kind of does is a little, I don't want to say basic because all of these superstars go through a lot of training and a lot of turmoil to perfect their craft. I would have loved to see um Tiffany Stratton win, but I want to see more technique from Nia Jax. Right. You see techniques from Bailey. Bailey gave it her all, and she did really good performance wise. But I would have liked to see I want to see Nia Jax perform a little bit more. I want to see her be more technical, in my opinion. We did get to see the Damian Priest and Finn Balor match. That was pretty good. Um, I'm rooting for Damian Priest, right? Because, like I said, with Tiffany Stratton, I think Damian Priest is a rising star. Let me see, and let me tell y'all again, these superstars, they are tall, like they're really big, right? Damian Priest is tall as all get out. On seeing him on TV is different because you think, okay, he's tall, but he don't look that tall, right? But seeing him in live, oh wow, he's tall. He's really really tall. Again, is that weird? It's not weird, but it's a good feeling because when you're seeing people of this caliber, of this tall, you see them in real life and see that's them in real life. That is was wild to me. Um, but Damian Priest came out on top. I can't wait to see what comes next with him in the storyline of Judgment Day. I think he needs to be champion again. I think he's also a rising star. He's going to go far. Of course, you had Carlito come out with it was really cool because when Carlito came out, I remember Carlito when I fist bumped him. This was back in, I want to say it was February, January or February when SmackDown came to Atlanta. It was SmackDown. And we were sitting ringside that show. And when they would come around to when they're done with their segment, they're done with their being on the camera, they come around in the back to go in the backstage. Of course, Carlito's coming this way, and I'm right next to him, like, hey, he's fist bumping me. He's like, hey, I watched you when I was a kid, and you're still here, just Um, Carlito comes out and kind of distracts Damien and try to get Finn Balor the win. Of course, Damian Priest taps out. Carlito spits out his apple. This happened last night. Spits out his apple. And he throws it up in the air with frustration, and he threw it, and a fan said, "Whoop, caught it." He said, "Whoop, caught it." Very, very. I don't think I would have if Carlito bit a big bite of that apple, I would have been like, oh, there's somebody bit somebody's germs. But they caught it. They probably ate it too. Fans, y'all. Fans would do anything. So feels good to see that as well. I see Damian Priest going far when it comes down to it. It's just kind of settling the score between him and Finn Balor. Can't wait to see what more of that goes on. Another surprise that we got, and I don't want to say it was a surprise because we knew this was coming. Triple H comes out. Uh, Again, feels good to see him live. I think the last time I saw him live was WrestleMania 27, and then my dad took us to WrestleMania 27, and we had the bundle pack. So we went to WrestleMania Sunday and then Raw. At that time, it was Phillips Arena. Um, Raw the next day, and we saw him live as well. But to see him up in a personnel and close and just up so we can really see him Really, really good to see. Again, it's a weird, cool taboo to see all of these superstars and wrestlers and superstars and just fandom them to see them live. It I don't know. I'm stumbling my words because it is something that you just got to see. If you are first of all, if you're a wrestling fan and they come to your city and you have the budget to go to these shows, go to these shows because it is a spectacle. It is something. It's so much fun. Um, so Triple H comes out. He reveals the new belt, the 2024 Crown Jewels belt for men's and women's. Again, I like the angle that Triple H is going with it when it comes down to he's incorporating the men and the women, right? It's not only he's responding to his social responsibility as a higher up executive within the company, but I really love to see that women are they're getting a chance, right? I love that. The belt is huge. These belts look big. They look big in person than they do on TV, these championship belts. That belt looks gigantic. I saw 24 karat diamonds. That belt is humongous. They spent some money on that belt. That belt was not cheap. Really, really good belt though, but that belt is not cheap. Feels good to see that. And then Gunther comes out and he did his segment. It's good to see him too. I'm a Gunther fan, the ring general. My brother kept saying the ring general. His whole segment, it was so funny. And then that's when Goldberg did his moment. I kind of knew, and me as a fan of the production style of it, I always watch and look at the I always watch and look at how the crew members are, right? When and I'm kind of stepping ahead here, but when people are going to the ring or like superstars, they're coming towards the ring as a call out, or they're coming in the back to help somebody. I'm looking at the production crew. The production crew has this way that they don't talk to nobody but the crew and say, hey, we need this back. Hey, somebody's walking like, hey, you got to get out of the way right now. And I'm like, okay, somebody's about to come out because how the way they're reacting is so interesting. So before that segment, Goldberg comes out sort of in front of us. And there was a fan who was in a wheelchair. And of course, they was taking pictures. And then we were on the side where on the if you look at the stage and then the ring, we were on the left side where another production table is at, where I guess is their internal production section is, and where the camera with the crane is near that too. And Goldberg's talking to what looked like the head of production guy, and he would say, "Hey, so you got to do this, and you're going to come around here, and then you're going to go over here, and then we're going to have security come in through this way." You can really tell the whole production style of it and just kind of running the game plan to Goldberg. I'm like, okay, something's about to happen where Goldberg is going to make his mark because we're here in Atlanta, right? We're here in Atlanta. He's going to make an import. He didn't just come to this event just to come to it, right? I'm sure he came to it to meet up with the older WCW legends and whatnot, but there's a reason why he's here. So he sat there and then they did their segment. Gunther points out Goldberg, and then Goldberg goes over the barricade and then has a moment there. Right. Really, really good for the fans. I was excited. My brothers were excited. We were just so excited because we are Goldberg fans as well. And then security comes out, and then Sami Zayn was part of the security, nonchalant, hiding him. He had hood on, and then he got in the ring. He was like, oh, Sammy's in there now. So really, really cool to see. And then you had the Rhea and Liv Morgan match, which I was a bit disappointed, I gotta say. I'm a Rhea fan, right? So I really wanted her to come up on top and to win the match, right? I wanted her to have fun. I wanted her to win, have her moment again. Um, it was kind of a it was like kind of a kind of moment, right? Because you've had so many things come out. We thought Jay was going to come out. Jay didn't quite come out when it comes out to that, but we had Raquel Gonzalez come back from the back again. Another those moments where the production crew's acting a little funny, and all of us were like, we kept looking at the other way, like somebody's coming. Somebody's coming through the side here. Something's not right. Raquel Gonzalez comes back from her injuries, and she helps Liv Morgan when the can retain her championship again. We were booing because we wanted to see a winner, But they gave us what they gave us. And then it led to the main event. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Very, very good to see. Jimmy Uso is back and he's on the good graces with Roman Reigns. That match was very good. It was very good match. It was very, very good. There was a lot of words for Solo Sokoa. Here in Atlanta, we cuss a lot. So it was a FU solo that the chants were cheering and people were laughing like, hey, we can't say it's Atlanta. You can't tell them to not, so that was very, very engaging. Of course, they came up on top Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes again. Seeing Roman Reigns, this has got to be the second time I've seen him live because he was at the SmackDown show back in February. But he's getting bigger. Like he looked like he worked out really, really heavy. Again, all of these superstars are tall. They're tall. But to see that, the workout is real and they're doing some amazing things. When it came down to it, Cody Rhodes, Atlanta native, of course, even though I think he's from like the Marietta area, honestly, but you can claim Atlanta. We claim Atlanta. Um, so it's always good to see him, his hometown, and he's back doing his thing. Um, Very, very impactful when it came down to it. That match was very, very good, very good. And I like the Bloodline theme song because I work out of that song. I do. And then when Cody when they win, of course, there was attack, and then of course Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso comes in, and it was very interesting. When it came to the part where Jimmy Uso came right behind the bloodline, Tommy Tonga and I can't pronounce their names, I'm sorry. But it was a black hoodie, bandana. He was covered and he was like standing. I was like, oh, I thought it was Jay. For some reason, I thought it was Jay. It was Jimmy. Um, he came back and then I was like, everybody was like, oh, but everybody was like, oh my God, somebody's behind y'all. You better look behind you. And my brother Ryan was like, well, what's going on? Like, well, Jimmy's right behind them. Like, you can see him. Um, and of course, it came out, and then of course they're doing their thing there too. Um, One thing that was kind of it was this, I would say it was disappointing to me because we couldn't see him, but The Rock made a special appearance. A 5-10 second appearance. Now we knew The Rock was gonna show up at Bad Blood because he's here in Atlanta filming, right? He had, with Appalachia High School, they came to his studio room or sound stage, and because he was right there filming for his latest movie, and that was really cool, and was like, okay, Rock's already in Atlanta. It's very interesting. The Rock was in Atlanta. I thought we were going to see John Cena too, because believe it or not, John Cena is actually here in Atlanta also filming. John Cena went to one of the gyms that I go to, Crunch. So we thought we were going to see John Cena because he's in town too filming, right? Everybody's filming here right now. And when The Rock came out, like we thought, okay, show's over. They really got us because we're like, oh damn, Rock ain't gonna be here. And then The Rock's music hit. I was like, oh, I knew it. I knew it. I called it. I knew The Rock was gonna be here. So he comes out, he does the 1, 2, 3 targets, and then he does this slit throat and he's out. Right. So it was just like, oh man, if he would have did that in a ring, because how the way the angle was, like everybody who have floor seats towards the stage, they were standing up. They were hyped. They were ready to go. And we just can see butt on the screen there. So again, it was one of those things that this event, this PLE was very, very good. I recommend people going out. If, like I say, if WWE comes to your town, especially when it's a PLE premium live event, that's an event you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss it, y'all. I had fun. It was very, very good. It does take a toll on you afterwards because there's a lot of cheering, a lot of loud music, right? There's a lot of loud music. Like when we got home, we were excited, but we were tired. We needed peace and quiet because it's loud in there, but it's really, really fun to do. Um, Very, very good PLE. It was very impactful. Like I say, 5 matches were pretty good. 5 matches were enough for me. It was enough for my brothers. It was enough for everybody, but it was very, very good. I can't wait to see what events that's next coming to Atlanta. Triple H did on his press conference, selling out the 60th history sellout for their events at Gate. It was really really good. That tells WWE something. That tells them that they're going to do a lot more events in Atlanta because the numbers don't lie, right? Um, so Triple H goes on to say the future of WWE, and there was another question that a reporter, a sports analyst, had asked him about more black representation for WWE. It feels good that he answered that truthfully. Yeah, he said he didn't see color, he didn't see nationality, he sees talent. Um, that's really good because, as COO, almost said CEO. I think he should be CEO because he's giving us some good quality content. Um, you kind of have to not, I don't want to say because he didn't deflect, but he had to answer that truthfully without getting political, without getting in trouble, right? Because that when you and it was a trick question. He got asked a trick question, but he honestly Triple H handled it really well. He handled that question well. Do I think we need more black representation in WWE? Yes. As a black man, I got to say yes. But talent, right? I think we're going to see more of Carmelo Hayes. I can't wait for Trick Williams to come up in main roster. But that's the wave with NXT and CW right now. That's the market. And you have to understand, even though, yes, we need more black representation in WWE, you got to understand from Triple H's point of view that it's about market and what's selling right now, right? Talent sells. You have to be talented in this game to sell it, right? They're in the selling business. And I'm sure Triple H in his mind wants more black people in wrestling. He does, but there's not really that much of a market right now, unfortunately. And he's just responding to what's in the market, and he has board of directors too, right? You got TKO Group, you got Endeavor, you got all of these people that plays a part. He can't make, even though he's a higher up executive, he makes some good decisions. He also got to answer to somebody, right? Um, so it was a good thing here. I honestly think it was a trick question that he got asked, but it's a valid question he got asked. I honestly do think more black representation of WWE is coming soon. It's just, hey, it's what's in the market, what's going to sell right now. Why, how talented of these superstars can we bring onto roster, right? And then now you're going from 3 hours to 2 hours for Raw, and then we don't know what Netflix is going to look like, which is great. That Netflix still isn't is good, y'all, because for me in my household, we don't have cable. So I kind of catch WWE on social media and try to stream it on otherwise. And if there's a PLE, it's always on Peacock. But Netflix is a game changer because now I get to keep up with these shows. It's a flagship show, going there and watching it, streaming it. I think that's the new wave too. Can't wait. I think SmackDown might come to Netflix soon, one of these days, because everybody's streaming stuff nowadays. So like I say, WWE Bad Blood last night, State Farm Arena. You had to be there. I was up in the building. I had such a ball, great time, and it was very, very impactful. Of course, we're gonna pass it to Andrew back into the studio with SNN Sports. I'm Kennedy Lucas. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Audio Jungle.
In the streets, so don't stop now. In the streets, so don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just find out. In the hallways, don't drop out. So don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just find out. In the hallways, no time to flop out. In the streets, so don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just find out. In the hallways, no time to flop out. So don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just find out. In the hallways, no time to flop out. In the streets, don't stop now. DJs, LMP. Just find out. In the hallways, no time to flop out. Don't stop now. DJs, LMP. Just find out. In the hallways, no time to flop out.
In the latest in UFC, Alex Pereira stops Khalil Rountree Jr., retains title at UFC 307. One of the most remarkable runs in UFC history continues, but after much more difficulty than expected. Alex Pereira methodically broke down again Khalil Rountree Jr. and used a bruising sequence of body punches to retain his light heavyweight championship with a fourth-round stoppage Saturday night in the main event of UFC 307 at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Pereira, 12-2 MMA, 9-1 UFC, was slotted into his third title defense in 176 days after headlining UFC 300 in April and UFC 303 in June. Unlike his knockout victories against Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochaska, Pereira faced adversity against an opponent who refused to go away willingly. Rountree was up on all three of the judges' scorecards 29-28 heading into the fourth. "This was one of my toughest fights. I expected that," Pereira said. "The game plan was to let him tire. I saw he started decreasing his stamina in the second round. My stamina only goes up." Fighting out of Las Vegas, Rountree, 14-6 MMA, 9-6 UFC, drew heavy criticism for being selected to challenge for the 205-pound title as the UFC's number 8 ranked light heavyweight, with number 2 ranked Miguel Nankali being surprisingly passed over. But Rountree proved his worth by withstanding an immense amount of punishment and getting the better of the striking exchanges in the early rounds. Powhatan was disciplined from the outset, feeding the challenger a steady diet of calf kicks and jabs. Rountree was undeterred in the opening rounds and connected with several left hands to get the champion's respect. In the second round, Rountree briefly dropped Pereira to a knee by countering a head kick with a right hand. Pereira wasn't hurt, but it was clear that Rountree could match him in the power department. As the fight wore on, Pereira patiently snapped the jab and deployed the calf kick. By round 3, Rountree's base was compromised and the altitude in Salt Lake City began to take a toll on his conditioning. In the final minute of the round, Rountree was gasping for air as Pereira rolled forward and blasted the challenger with punches that opened several cuts around the eye. Sensing that Rountree was fading, Pereira spent the early minutes of the fourth round allowing the challenger to exhaust what was left of his gas tank. Pereira calmly pressed forward and rocked Rountree with a right hand. The challenger went into survival mode and swung for the fences in hopes of catching Pereira with his power. But Pereira was both poised and relentless with his assault, bouncing a series of violent punches off Rountree's face as the challenger staggered around the octagon. In a violent finishing salvo, Pereira snuck in an uppercut and unleashed a wicked body combination that took what was left of Rountree's resolve. The challenger sank to the canvas at the 4:32 mark as Pereira collected his third successful title defense. Pereira outlanded Rountree 63-15 in significant strikes in the fourth round and had a 127-61 edge for the fight. Pereira became the fifth fighter, joining John Jones, Anderson Silva, Chuck Liddell, and Frank Shamrock, to win 3 pay-per-view main events in a calendar year by knockout or submission. The remarkable run of Pereira over the past year has left many wondering where he will go next. Pereira has teased the possibility of moving back down to middleweight to challenge champion Dricus du Plessis or climbing up to heavyweight for a blockbuster showdown with current champion Jones. But Pereira appears to be comfortable right where he's at. "We saw that Dricus was fighting Sean Strickland next," he said. "He's a training partner, and I don't want to get in the way. I can move up to heavyweight, but this division is great, and this is where I'm at. Whatever he decides to do next, the world will be watching as the legend of Powhatan continues to grow." Juliana Pena became just the second 2-time champion in UFC women's bantamweight history Saturday, but did so by the narrowest of decisions. Pena, 11-5, took the belt from defending champion Raquel Pennington, 16-9, via split decision in the co-main event of UFC 307 inside Delta Center. 2 judges scored the 5-round fight 48-47 for Pena, while a third had it 48-47 for Pennington. Pena officially joins her former rival and all-time great Amanda Nunes as the only 2-time champions in the history of the 135-pound division. Both women appeared to show a little surprise as the result was read. Pennington floored Pena with a right hand in the fourth round. She also appeared to more or less dominate Pena in the fifth round, as Pena might have been slow to recover from the knockdown. "I wasn't sure," Pena said when asked if she thought she had one. "I heard the judges were doing some crazy stuff tonight. I didn't want to leave it in the hands of the judges, but Raquel is very tough." As the two fighters were waiting for the result to be read, Pena could be seen mouthing the words, "Did I win?" to her cornermen, while Pennington appeared very confident. "I did feel like I won that fight," Pennington said. "That first round she took me down, but other than that, I felt I was landing more strikes and doing what I do. And then dropping her, too." Pena, who first won the title in 2021 with an upset of Nunes, did convert 2 of 3 takedown attempts, but she did not keep her down for an extended amount of time and failed to build much offense from the wrestling. She did threaten to submit Pennington after scoring an outside trip in the third round. The deciding round proved to be the first, as all three judges agreed Pena won rounds 2 and 3, while Pennington won rounds 4 and 5. Earlier in the night, former two-time PFL champion Kayla Harrison, 18-1, earned a hard-fought decision over Ketlin Vieira. Expectations are that Harrison will challenge Pena for the belt next. The two got into it during a news conference earlier this week. However, after Saturday's fight, Pena instead called out Nunes, who retired in 2023. The two are 1-1 against each other. Nunes avenged her 2021 loss to Pena decisively in an immediate rematch in 2022. "I would really like Amanda Nunes to stop ducking and come back to the octagon," Pena said. "We're 1-1. It would be the greatest fight. I do not believe she is done. I want to see her back."
Audio Jungle.
In the streets, so don't stop now. In the streets, so don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just find out. In the hallways, don't drop out. So don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just find out. In the hallways, no time to flop out. In the streets, so don't stop now. DJs, LMP, just find out. In the hallways, don't drop out.